I still remember standing at Portland International Airport at 6 in the evening holding a bouquet of tulips and feeling my stomach twist into knots. Alison was coming home after 3 weeks in Europe, and I had spent the entire day preparing for her return. I made her favorite lasagna, cleaned the apartment until it sparkled, and bought fresh flowers. I thought we would have a sweet reunion after being apart for so long. But 2 days earlier she had called me with those words, "Nobody ever wants to hear, we need to talk when I get back." I tried to stay optimistic, telling myself maybe she was just exhausted from all the traveling, but something in her voice felt different, distant, like she was already gone. Before I continue with what happened that night, I would love to know where you are watching this from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. If you have ever had someone drop a bomb on you right when you thought everything was fine, hit that like button because you will understand where this is going. And subscribe because what she told me that evening changed everything I thought I knew about trust. Now let me take you back to the beginning. Alison and I had been together for 2 years and 3 months. We met through a mutual friend at a concert in Portland, and our relationship developed naturally, comfortably. Those first 2 years were filled with memories I still hold dear. We took road trips down to the Oregon coast, where we would walk along the beaches and watch the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and purple. Every Sunday night we cooked dinner together, trying new recipes and laughing when things did not turn out the way we planned. She became close with my family, especially my younger sister Harper, and the two of them would spend hours talking about everything from books to life advice. I was actually thinking about proposing within the next year. I had even secretly talked to my jeweler friend about designing a custom ring, something unique that would represent our journey together. Then the opportunity came. Alison worked at a marketing agency, and her company organized a team retreat in Barcelona. After the work portion, she had 2 additional weeks of vacation time to explore Europe on her own. It was a 3-week trip total, and I could not go with her. I was in the middle of a major project at my construction management firm, and it was peak season. There was no way I could request time off without jeopardizing everything I had been working toward. When Alison told me about the trip, I encouraged her to go. "This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity," I told her. "Go enjoy it." The morning I drove her to the airport, we left at 5 in the morning to beat traffic. The drive was quiet, both of us still half asleep, but when we got to the departures area, she wrapped her arms around me tight. "I will miss you every single day," she whispered against my chest. I kissed the top of her head and joked, "Do not fall in love with some European guy." She laughed, pulling back to look at me with those warm brown eyes. "Never. You are stuck with me." I watched her walk through the security line, turning back once to wave at me, and I drove home feeling content, confident in what we had built together. The first week went smoothly. Despite the 9-hour time difference between Portland and Barcelona, we managed to video call every evening. She would show me pictures of La Sagrada Familia, the Gothic Quarter, and the tapas bars she discovered. I told her about my days at work, the progress on the construction site, and what I had been eating for dinner. Her excitement was contagious, and I felt happy knowing she was having such an incredible experience. The second week she traveled to France, visiting Paris, and then heading down to Nice. That was when things started to shift, though I did not realize it at the time. Her messages became less frequent. She explained that she was busy exploring and that the internet connection was unreliable in some places. It made sense to me. She was on vacation after all, and I did not want to be the clingy boyfriend who demanded constant attention. We still exchanged sweet messages. "Missing you, babe. Cannot wait to be home," she texted one afternoon. I responded with a photo of me cooking her favorite pasta dish, captioned, "Practicing for when you get back." Everything seemed normal, or at least I convinced myself it was. The third week, Alison moved on to Italy, exploring Rome and Florence. That was when the communication became almost non-existent. 5 days went by without a single video call. Her text responses were delayed by hours, sometimes a full day, and when she did reply, the messages were brief and detached. "Yeah, good. Busy day. Talk later." I started to worry. I sent her a message asking if everything was okay, if something had happened. "Hey, is everything okay? You seem distant," I wrote. Her response came 12 hours later. "I am fine. Just tired. We will talk when I am home." Those words sat heavy in my chest. "We will talk" is never a good sign. I tried to push down the anxiety, telling myself she was probably exhausted from weeks of travel, maybe overwhelmed by all the sights and experiences. But my gut told me something else was going on. 2 days before her return flight, she called me. Not a video call, just a regular phone call. Her voice sounded strained, serious. "Russell, we need to talk when I get back. It is important." My heart started pounding. "What is wrong? Are you okay?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "I am fine," she said. We need to talk face to face. I will see you soon." Then she hung up. I did not sleep that night. My mind raced through every possible scenario. Did she want to break up? Had she met someone? Was there bad news from her family? I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to prepare myself for whatever was coming. When Alison finally walked through the arrivals gate at Portland International, I was standing there with the tulips, my hands sweaty, despite the cool airport air conditioning. She looked different. Her skin was sun-kissed from weeks under the Mediterranean sun, and her hair was styled in a new way, lighter and more carefree. But her face looked tired, and there was no light in her eyes when they met mine. She saw me and gave me a smile, but it was forced tight at the edges. I handed her the flowers. "Thanks. They are beautiful," she said, quietly taking them without much emotion. I moved to hug her, expecting the kind of embrace we always shared after being apart, but instead I got a quick, almost obligatory hug. She pulled away fast, adjusting her backpack. "How was the flight?" I asked, trying to sound normal. "Long. Can we just go home?" she replied. The drive back to our apartment was suffocating. I tried to make conversation, asking about her favorite moments from the trip, but her answers were short, distracted. She stared out the window at the familiar streets of Portland, her mind clearly somewhere else. When we finally got home, I showed her the dinner I had prepared. The lasagna was still warm in the oven, the table set with candles. "I am not really hungry. Can we just talk?" she said. My stomach dropped. I nodded, and we walked into the living room. We sat down on the couch, and the silence between us felt heavier than anything I had ever experienced. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears. Alison took a deep breath and looked at me. "Russell, I need to tell you something, and I need you to let me finish before you say anything." I nodded, my throat dry. She continued, her voice shaking slightly. "When I was in Nice, I met someone. His name is Laurent. He is French." The world tilted. I felt like I had been punched in the chest, all the air knocked out of my lungs. She kept going. "We spent 3 days together. It was not planned. We met at a cafe, started talking, and..." She trailed off, struggling to find the words, and what I managed to ask, my voice barely above a whisper. "We got close, really close. It was. I do not know how to explain it. It felt like a situationship. Not a full relationship, but more than just friends." She paused. "We went to the beach, had dinners, talked until sunrise. There was something there. I felt nauseous. Did you sleep with him?" I asked, needing to know the full truth. She hesitated, and that hesitation told me everything I needed to know before she even spoke. "We kissed, more than once. But we did not. We did not sleep together. I stopped it before it went that far because of you." My anger flared. "Because of me? You are acting like you deserve credit for not cheating completely." She flinched. "I am telling you because I do not want to lie. I thought about him every day after I left Nice. Even in Italy, I could not stop thinking about him." Then she dropped another bomb. "We have been texting. He wants to visit me here, or he wants me to come back." I stood up, unable to sit still anymore. I started pacing the living room, trying to process what I was hearing. "So you are telling me you had a situationship, whatever the hell that means, while we were together? While I was here waiting for you, planning our future?" Tears streamed down her face. "I do not know what I want anymore, Russell. I thought being away would help me miss you more, but instead I felt free. And then Laurent happened, and now I am confused." The word confused hit me like a slap. Everything I had been planning, the ring, I was going to buy, the life I thought we were building, all of it crumbled in that moment. She was not confused about Laurent. She was confused about me. The argument escalated quickly. I fired questions at her, each one more painful than the last. "When you said you missed me in those texts, were you lying?" She shook her head. "No, I did miss you, but I also missed him when I left." I laughed bitterly. "You cannot have both, Alison. That is not how this works." She tried to defend herself. "I do not expect you to understand. I am trying to be honest. I could have hidden this." My voice rose. "Oh, so I should thank you for telling me you fell for someone else while we were together." She got angry then. "I did not fall for him. It was just a connection." I needed space to figure out what I want. Maybe we moved too fast. Maybe I needed to explore who I am without being Russell's girlfriend. That hurt more than anything else she had said. So our 2 years together meant nothing. You needed to find yourself by kissing some French guy. She stood up defensive. That is not fair. I am human. I made a mistake, but I came back. I am here. I shook my head. Physically, yes, but emotionally, you left me weeks ago. The fight went on for what felt like hours. She cried, saying she needed time to figure things out. I told her I could not trust her anymore. She asked if I was really going to throw away everything we had built. No, I said, my voice cold. You already did that. I looked at her, this woman. I thought I knew inside and out, and realized she had become a stranger. And in that moment, standing in our living room, surrounded by the remnants of the life we had shared, I knew exactly what I had to do. After the argument died down, Alison retreated to the bedroom. I stayed in the living room, sitting on the couch in the dark. I could not sleep. I sat there all night, replaying everything she had said, analyzing every detail. The way her messages had changed during the second week, the sudden lack of communication in the third week, the phone call where she said we needed to talk. It all made sense now. She had not just made a mistake. She had actively chosen to spend time with someone else, to build something with him while I was at home believing in us. I thought about the fact that she was still texting Laurent, that he wanted to visit her or she wanted to go back to him. She had come home not because she loved me and wanted to be with me, but because she was confused. I was not her choice. I was her safety net, her backup plan, while she figured out if something better existed. And I realized something crucial in those dark hours. I could not be with someone who was unsure about me. I could not spend my life wondering if I was enough, if she was going to leave the moment another Laurent walked into her life. I deserved better than that. I deserved someone who chose me, without hesitation, without confusion. At 5 in the morning, I walked into the bedroom. Alison was asleep, curled up on her side of the bed. I went to the closet and pulled out 3 large suitcases. Quietly, methodically, I started packing her thing. I took her clothes from the closet, folding them carefully, and placing them in the suitcases. I went to the bathroom and gathered her toiletries, her makeup, her skincare product. I collected the books she kept on the nightstand, the decorative items she had placed around the apartment over the past 2 years. I took down the framed photos of us from the walls, setting them aside to deal with later. I gathered her shoes from by the front door, her jackets from the coat rack, her key to the apartment from the hook where we kept our keys. As I packed, I felt a strange mixture of sadness and clarity. Each item reminded me of a memory, a moment we had shared. But I also felt a sense of resolve. This was not an impulsive decision made in anger. This was me choosing to respect myself, to refuse to be someone's second choice. By 7 in the morning, I had 3 packed suitcases sitting in the living room. I made myself a cup of coffee and sat down to wait. The apartment felt quieter than it ever had, but it also felt honest. And honesty was all I had ever wanted. At 8, I heard movement from the bedroom. Alison came out, still in the clothes she had worn the night before. She saw the suitcases and stopped dead. What? What is this? Her voice was small, uncertain. I looked at her calmly. Your things. I packed them last night. Her eyes widened. Russell, what are you doing? I set down my coffee cup. I am making it easier for both of us. You said you are confused. You do not know what you want. But I do. I want someone who chooses me, not someone who keeps me as an option while figuring out if there is something better. She started crying immediately. Russell, please. Let us talk about this. I made a mistake, but we can work through it. I shook my head. Work through what? The fact that you kissed another man, or the fact that you are still texting him and considering seeing him again. You did not just slip up, Alison. You built something with him while you were supposed to be building with me. She tried again. It was just 3 days. It did not mean anything. I met her eyes. If it did not mean anything, why are you confused? Why cannot you just say you want to be with me, and only me? She opened her mouth to respond, but no words came out. The silence answered my question. That is what I thought I said quietly. You want to keep your options open, but I am closing this one. She was fully crying now, her voice breaking. Where am I supposed to go? I kept my voice steady, even though seeing her cry hurt me deeply. You can stay with your sister Dana, or your parents. I do not know. But you cannot stay here. This is my apartment. My name is on the lease. And I am not living with someone who might leave me emotionally while still sleeping in my bed. She looked devastated, but I did not waver. This was the hardest thing I had ever done, but I knew it was right. Alison pulled out her phone and called Dana. I heard her crying into the phone, asking if she could stay for a while. Dana arrived 30 minutes later in her blue Toyota Camry. I helped carry the suitcases down to the car. Dana looked at me with sad, understanding eyes. "I am sorry, Russell," she said softly. "Me too," I replied. Alison stood at the door of the apartment, tears streaming down her face. "Russell, I really am sorry. I never meant to hurt you." I believed her. "I believe you did not mean to. But you did. And that is what matters. I hope you find what you are looking for, Alison. I really do. But it is not going to be with me standing on the sidelines waiting." She wiped her eyes. "What if I realize I made a mistake? What if I want to come back?" I handed her the apartment key. "Then I hope I have moved on by then. Because I deserve better than being someone's backup plan." She took the key, her hand trembling. "Goodbye, Alison." She got into Dana's car, and I watched them drive away. I stood on the sidewalk until the car disappeared around the corner. Then I walked back inside, closed the door, and locked it. The apartment felt empty, but it also felt clean, like I had removed something toxic from my life. It hurt like hell, but I knew I had done the right thing. I had chosen myself. The first week after Alison left was brutal. I took 2 days off work, something I rarely did because I could not focus on anything. I called my sister Harper and told her everything. "You did what you had to do," she said firmly. "I am proud of you for standing up for yourself." Her support meant everything to me. I spent those 2 days cleaning the apartment even more thoroughly, removing every trace of Alison. I donated the framed photos to a charity shop. I bought new bedding and new curtains, wanting the space to feel different, to feel like mine alone. But the nights were the hardest. I would lie in bed and remember the good times, the laughter, the intimacy we had shared. Then I would remember her words about Laurent, about feeling free without me, and the pain would wash over me again. I made the decision to block Alison's number and remove her from all my social media. I did not want to know what she was doing, whether she was talking to Laurent, whether she had gone back to France. That was her life now, and I needed to focus on mine. I threw myself into work. The construction project I had been managing was entering a critical phase, and keeping my mind occupied helped. My friends Marcus and Jared reached out, inviting me to watch football at a sports bar to grab beers after work. I appreciated their presence even when I did not feel like talking. I started going to the gym more consistently, lifting weights and running on the treadmill until my body was too exhausted to think. Every morning I jogged through Waterfront Park, watching the sun rise over the Willamette River, and slowly, very slowly, I started to feel like myself again. By the second month, something had shifted. I woke up one morning and realized I had not thought about Alison the entire previous day. It was a small victory, but it felt significant. I started reconnecting with hobbies I had let slide during our relationship. I picked up my guitar again, something I had not played in over a year, and spent evenings learning new songs. I read books I had been meaning to get to, starting with The Road by Cormac McCarthy, losing myself in the story. I signed up for an Italian cooking class that met every Tuesday night at a community center downtown. It was there that I met new people, expanding my social circle beyond the friends Alison and I had shared. These were people who knew me as Russell, not as Alison's boyfriend, and that felt liberating. 3 months after the breakup, I noticed another change. I was not angry anymore. I had moved past the rage and betrayal and entered a phase of acceptance. Harper invited me to a casual dinner party at her place, and she introduced me to one of her coworkers, a woman named Sophia. Sophia was funny and kind, with an easy laugh and genuine warmth. I was not ready to date anyone yet, not seriously, but talking to her felt natural. It reminded me that not all women were like Alison, that trust and honesty did exist. I was learning to be okay with being alone, learning to enjoy my own company. I took myself to movies, to restaurants, on hikes through the Columbia River Gorge. I was rediscovering who Russell was outside of a relationship, and I liked what I found. 4 months after everything happened, Harper mentioned Alison in passing. I heard from a mutual friend that Alison flew to France to see Laurent, she said, carefully watching my reaction. And I asked, more curious than anything. It did not work out. He was not interested in anything serious. She came back after a week. I waited for a feeling of satisfaction or vindication, but it never came. I just felt neutral. "I hope she is okay," I said honestly. "I really do. But it is not my problem anymore. Harper smiled. You have really moved on, have not you? I nodded. Yeah, I think I have. Looking back now 6 months later, I realized that night was not just about Alison's betrayal. It was about me learning to respect myself. I learned that loving someone does not mean accepting being their second choice. You can love someone and still walk away if they do not value you the way you deserve to be valued. When someone shows you they are unsure about you, believe them. Do not wait around hoping they will change their mind, hoping you will suddenly become enough. You deserve someone who is certain about you from day one, someone who does not need to explore other options to realize what they have. Letting go is not about anger or revenge. It is about peace. It is about saying, I choose myself, even when it hurts, even when every part of you wants to hold on. I do not regret the 2 years Alison and I spent together. She taught me what I want in a partner, and more importantly, what I will never tolerate again. I want honesty, clarity, and someone who chooses me every single day without hesitation. I started dating Sophia last month. We are taking it slow, being careful with each other's hearts. She is nothing like Alison. She is straightforward, genuine, and when she says she wants to be with me, I believe her. There is no confusion, no situationship, no wondering where I stand. And that clarity is everything. If someone you love confesses to a situationship, ask yourself this: are they telling you to clear their conscience, or because they genuinely want to fight for you? If it is the first, you already have your answer. Some people come into your life to teach you what you deserve. Alison taught me that. And for that, in a strange way, I am grateful. These days, I sleep better. The apartment is quieter, but it is honest. And honestly, that is all I ever wanted. So let me ask you, have you ever been in a situation where you had to choose yourself over someone you loved? Drop your story in the comments below. I would love to hear how you handled it. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and share it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you have not already subscribed to the channel, because I share more real-life stories like this one every week. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps you remember that you are worth more than being someone's maybe. Take care of yourself, and remember, choosing yourself is never selfish. It is survival.